Let me tell you about a state of being that most people never reach. A state where nothing can touch you. Not failure, not criticism, not rejection, not loss, not even success. You exist in a realm beyond circumstance, beyond emotion, beyond the chaos of the external world. This is the untouchable state, and it is the ultimate achievement of the human spirit. Most people are constantly touched, affected, moved, shaken. Someone criticizes them and they crumble. Someone rejects them and they break. They lose money and they panic. They fail and they quit. Their entire emotional state is dictated by external events. They are puppets on strings, and the world pulls those strings constantly. But there exists a rare breed of human being who has transcended this vulnerability, who has built an internal fortress so strong that nothing external can penetrate it. Not praise, not blame, not victory, not defeat. They exist in perfect equilibrium, unshaken, unmoved, untouchable. This is not numbness. This is not apathy. This is not detachment from life. This is the opposite. This is being so deeply rooted in your internal power that external storms cannot uproot you. This is being so centered in your truth that external opinions cannot sway you. This is being so complete within yourself that external validation cannot define you. The untouchable state is the ultimate freedom, because when nothing can touch you, nothing can control you. When nothing can disturb your peace, you are truly powerful. When nothing can shake your center, you become immovable. And the immovable man is the invincible man. Now let me reveal the truth. The untouchable state is not a gift. It is not genetic. It is not luck. It is a construction, a deliberate building of internal architecture that can withstand any external pressure. And this construction follows 6 sacred pillars. Each pillar strengthens your fortress. Each pillar deepens your immunity. And when all 6 stand firm, you become untouchable. The first pillar, self-validation. Most people are validation addicts. They need others to confirm their worth. They need approval to feel good. They need praise to feel successful. They need recognition to feel valuable. And this need makes them vulnerable, controllable, touchable. Because when you need external validation, you give others power over you. They can give it or withhold it. They can use it to manipulate you. They can control your emotions by controlling their approval. And you dance like a puppet, desperately seeking what only you can give yourself. The man in the untouchable state validates himself. He does not need others to tell him he's worthy. He knows. He does not need applause to confirm his success. He defines success himself. He does not need recognition to feel valuable. He values himself. This is not arrogance. This is sovereignty. This is taking full responsibility for your own emotional state. This is refusing to outsource your self-worth to people who may or may not give it. How do you build self-validation? Through brutal honesty with yourself. You must ask, am I living according to my values? Am I doing my best? Am I being the person I respect? If yes, then you validate yourself, regardless of what others say. Your opinion of yourself is the only opinion that truly matters. Not because other opinions don't exist, but because other opinions are unreliable, changeable, and often uninformed. But your opinion of yourself, when based on honest self-assessment, is rock solid. Build this pillar. Stop seeking validation from others. Start giving it to yourself. When you do good work, acknowledge it. When you act with integrity, recognize it. When you grow, celebrate it. Not for others, for yourself. And watch what happens. When you no longer need external validation, criticism loses its power. Rejection becomes irrelevant. Disapproval bounces off you. because you have built the first pillar of untouchability. You validate yourself. The second pillar, emotional sovereignty. Most people are emotional slaves. Their emotions are dictated by circumstances. Good news makes them happy. Bad news makes them sad. Success makes them elated. Failure makes them depressed. They ride an emotional roller coaster controlled by external events. But the man in the untouchable state has emotional sovereignty. He feels emotions. He is not numb, but his emotions do not control him. He controls them. He chooses his emotional state regardless of circumstances. This is mastery. This is power. This is freedom. Because when you control your emotions, you control your life. When circumstances control your emotions, circumstances control your life. How do you build emotional sovereignty? Through the gap between stimulus and response. Something happens. That's the stimulus. You feel an immediate emotional reaction, but before you respond, you pause. You create a gap. And in that gap, you choose. Most people have no gap. Stimulus immediately triggers response. Someone insults them, they immediately react with anger. They fail. They immediately feel despair. They are stimulus response machines. Predictable, controllable, touchable. But the sovereign man creates the gap. Someone insults him. He feels the anger rising, but he pauses. He breathes. He thinks, do I want to give this person control over my emotional state? Do I want to let their words dictate my peace? And he chooses. Usually, he chooses calm, not because he's weak, but because he's sovereign. Practice the gap daily. Every time you feel a strong emotion rising, pause before acting. Breathe. Count to 10. Ask yourself, am I choosing this emotion, or is it being imposed on me? Then choose consciously. Over time, this practice builds emotional sovereignty. You still feel, but you feel by choice, not by default. And when you choose your emotions, you become untouchable, because no one can make you feel anything you don't choose to feel. The third pillar, detachment from outcomes. Most people are attached to results. They need things to go their way. They need their plans to succeed. They need specific outcomes to be happy. And this attachment creates vulnerability, because outcomes are not always controllable. When you attach your peace to outcomes, you give outcomes power over you. If they happen, you're happy. If they don't, you're miserable. You become a slave to results, and results are fickle masters. The man in the untouchable state is detached from outcomes, not indifferent, not apathetic, but detached. He has preferences. He works toward goals. He wants things to succeed, but his peace is not dependent on it. If he succeeds, great. If he fails, he learns and tries again. Either way, his internal state remains stable. He is not crushed by failure. He is not inflated by success. He remains centered, balanced, untouchable. This detachment is incredibly powerful, because when you're not attached to outcomes, you cannot be disappointed. You cannot be devastated. You cannot be broken by external results. You remain whole regardless of what happens. How do you build this detachment? Through practice and perspective. First, recognize that attachment creates suffering. Every time you suffer, ask, what am I attached to? Usually, it's a specific outcome. And practice releasing. Say to yourself, I prefer this outcome, but if it doesn't happen, I will be okay. My worth is not determined by this result. My peace is not dependent on this outcome. And mean it. Feel it. Embody it. Over time, this practice builds detachment. You still care. You still try. You still work hard. But your internal peace is no longer held hostage by external results. And when outcomes cannot touch your peace, you are untouchable. The fourth pillar, identity, independence. Most people derive their identity from external sources. They are their job title, they are their possessions, they are their achievements, they are their relationships. And when these external things change or disappear, they lose themselves. I am a CEO. Then you get fired and you don't know who you are. I am wealthy. Then you lose money and you feel worthless. I am a husband. Then you divorce and you're lost because your identity was borrowed from external circumstances, not built from internal truth. The man in the untouchable state has identity independence. He knows who he is regardless of external labels. His identity is not his job. His identity is not his wealth. His identity is not his relationships. His identity is his core values, his character, his spirit, and these cannot be taken away. Fire him from his job. He's still himself. Take his money. He's still himself. End his relationship. He's still himself because he has built an identity that exists independent of circumstances. How do you build identity independence? Through deep self-knowledge. You must answer, who am I beyond my roles, beyond my possessions, beyond my achievements? What are my core values? What is my character? What is my essence? Write this down. I am a man of integrity. I am courageous. I am compassionate. I am resilient. These qualities are yours regardless of circumstances. Build your identity on these, not on external changeable things. And watch what happens. When you lose a job, it doesn't destroy you because you were never your job. When you lose money, it doesn't define you because you were never your wealth. Your identity is independent. And when your identity is independent, circumstances cannot touch who you are. The fifth pillar, present moment mastery. Most people do not live in the present. They live in the past or the future. They replay yesterday's mistakes. They worry about tomorrow's problems. And in doing so, they miss the only moment that actually exists, now. This mental time travel makes them vulnerable. Past regrets haunt them. Future anxieties disturb them. They are constantly touched by things that don't even exist in reality, only in their minds. The man in the untouchable state lives in the present moment, not occasionally, constantly. He is fully here, fully now. And because he is present, he is untouchable. Because the present moment contains no problems. Only the mind's projection of past and future creates problems. Right now, in this exact moment, are you okay? Not tomorrow, not yesterday. But right now, usually yes. The present moment is almost always fine. It's our thoughts about past and future that create suffering. When you master the present moment, you become untouchable. Because most attacks come from past or future. Regret is past, worry is future, guilt is past, anxiety is future. But none of these exist now. How do you build present moment mastery? Through mindfulness practice. Throughout the day, return to now. Ask yourself, am I here? Or am I lost in past or future? When you catch yourself time traveling, return to now. Feel your breath. Notice your surroundings. Engage fully with what you're doing. This constant returning builds the habit of presence. And presence is a fortress. Because when you're truly present, nothing can disturb you. All disturbance comes from mental projection. Master the present moment and become untouchable to regret, worry, anxiety, and fear. Because all of these live in time, and you live in the eternal now. The sixth pillar, purpose anchoring. Most people have no anchor. They drift. They are moved by every wind. They are influenced by every opinion. They are swayed by every trend because they have no fixed point, no North Star, no purpose. And this lack of anchor makes them vulnerable, touchable, movable. They don't know what they stand for, so they fall for everything. The man in the untouchable state is anchored in purpose. He knows why he exists. He knows what he's here to do. He knows his mission. And this purpose is his anchor. When storms come, the anchor holds. When criticism comes, the anchor holds. When temptation comes, the anchor holds. Purpose creates untouchability because purpose provides perspective. When you know your purpose, small things don't disturb you. Petty criticism doesn't touch you. Temporary setbacks don't shake you because you're focused on something bigger than any of these. People can attack you, but they cannot touch your purpose. Circumstances can challenge you, but they cannot change your purpose. The world can change around you, but your purpose remains constant. And as long as you're anchored to it, you're untouchable. How do you build purpose anchoring? Through deep reflection. You must discover your purpose, not create it. Discover it. It already exists within you. You just need to uncover it. Ask yourself, what am I here to do? What problem am I meant to solve? What gift am I meant to give? What legacy am I meant to leave? Sit with these questions. The answers will come. And when you find your purpose, write it down. Memorize it. Remind yourself of it daily. Let it become your anchor. And watch how it protects you from being moved by every wind that blows. When you're anchored in purpose, you become untouchable because you're connected to something eternal, something that transcends circumstances, something that gives meaning to everything, including suffering. Now let me tell you the complete truth. The untouchable state is not about becoming cold. It's not about becoming hard. It's not about becoming free. Free from the tyranny of external validation, free from emotional slavery, free from identity crisis, free from past and future, free from purposelessness. This is the freedom that comes from building the 6 pillars. Most people will never build these pillars. They will remain touchable, vulnerable, controlled by circumstances, moved by opinions, shaken by events, and they will suffer unnecessarily. Not because life is suffering, but because they have not built the internal architecture to be untouchable. But you can be different. You can build the 6 pillars. You can achieve the untouchable state. You can become the man who stands firm while the world shakes around him. The man who remains calm while others panic. The man who stays centered while others lose themselves. This is not superhuman. This is what you're capable of. This is your potential. This is your destiny. If you choose it, here are your daily practices to build the untouchable state. Daily self-validation practice. Each morning, ask, did I live with integrity yesterday? Did I do my best? Am I proud of who I was? Answer honestly. Validate yourself based on your own standards. Emotional sovereignty practice. Throughout the day, practice the gap. When strong emotions arise, pause, breathe. Choose your response consciously. Build the muscle of emotional choice. Detachment practice. Before pursuing any goal, say, I prefer this outcome, but if it doesn't happen, I remain whole. Feel this truth. Embody this detachment. Identity independence practice. Weekly, remind yourself, I am not my job, my wealth, my achievements. I am my values, my character, my spirit. Write your core identity independent of circumstances. Present moment practice. Set hourly reminders. When they go off, return to now. Feel your breath. Notice your surroundings. Release past and future. Be here. purpose anchoring practice. Daily, remind yourself of your purpose. Why do you exist? What are you here to do? Let this purpose anchor you against all storms. These practices build the 6 pillars, slowly, steadily, permanently. And as the pillars grow stronger, you become increasingly untouchable. Let me tell you one final truth. The untouchable state is not the end of feeling. It is the beginning of true feeling, because when you're no longer controlled by emotions, you can finally experience them fully. When criticism cannot destroy you, you can hear it without defense. When failure cannot break you, you can learn from it without shame. When success cannot inflate you, you can enjoy it without attachment. When pain cannot defeat you, you can grow from it without bitterness. The untouchable state gives you the freedom to experience life fully, without fear, without protection, without walls, because you no longer need protection. You have built something better than walls. You have built pillars, internal pillars that cannot be shaken. Most people build walls to protect themselves, but walls also imprison. Walls keep pain out, but they also keep joy out. Walls prevent hurt, but they also prevent connection. Walls create safety, but they also create isolation. But pillars are different. Pillars support without imprisoning. Pillars strengthen without isolating. Pillars protect without walls. And when you have pillars, you don't need walls. You can be open, vulnerable, connected, engaged with life, because you're not afraid of being touched. You're untouchable, not because you're closed, but because you're strong. Not because you're hard, but because you're rooted. Not because you avoid life, but because you've mastered it. This is the paradox. The untouchable man is the most touchable, the most open, the most vulnerable, the most alive, because he has nothing to protect. He has built something that cannot be destroyed. His internal pillars. Now go. Build your 6 pillars. Self-validation, emotional sovereignty, detachment from outcomes, identity independence, present moment mastery, purpose anchoring. Build them daily, strengthen them constantly, and watch yourself transform from touchable to untouchable, from vulnerable to invincible, from controlled to free, from shaken to immovable, from reactive to sovereign. This is your destiny. This is your potential. This is the untouchable state. Build it, live it, become it, and nothing will ever touch you again.